this historic day when India takes her place as a free and independent dominion in the British Commonwealth of Nations.
India's fight for independence is filled with stories of men and women who sacrificed everything for one dream, the dream of a free nation. In a time of revolution and resistance, one woman's voice echoed through the struggle for India's independence. Born into a world on the brink of change, she became one of the most powerful advocates for freedom, standing shoulder to shoulder with the titans of the Indian independence movement. This is the story of Sucheta Kripalani, a leader, a fighter, and an inspiration. This is She Left a Legacy, a series where we delve into the lives of extraordinary women who shaped history. I am Sharmada Venkatasubramanian, and today we bring you the remarkable tale of Sucheta Kripalani, a freedom fighter who went on to become the country's first female chief minister. In a time of great political upheaval in 1908, Sucheta was born in Ambala, Punjab. She was raised in an atmosphere where education and patriotism were highly valued. She was not born into a family of revolutionaries, but as the winds of change swept across the country, young Sucheta found herself drawn to the ideals of Indian nationalism.
Sucheta Kripalani, or Mrs. Kripalani as she was known in her circles those days, came from a Brahmo Bengali family, which obviously was considered as quite forward-looking those days. Her father, Dr. Surendranath Majumdar, was a medical officer working for the British government those days, and at the time of her birth, he was posted in Ambala. She did her college education from IP College, Delhi, and then St. Stephen's in history. And during that time, while studying in Delhi, she came in contact with the Congress party leaders movement and also fellow students. Obviously, she was not formally member of the Congress party until very late, but was associated with the activities. And during her college days, she used to communicate, rather was functioning as a courier for very many leaders, and was known as a cyanide girl. She used to carry the cyanide kind of tablets in her neck as a mala, for any eventuality and all that. So that was the reputation that she had acquired during her college days. Unfortunately for her, her father died the year she passed out from the college, that is in 1929, and therefore she had to take the family responsibilities and then moved to Banaras, where she joined Banaras Hindu University as a lecturer of constitutional history. Though it is not mentioned anywhere explicitly in the available literature, but I guess that Acharya Kripalani had helped her in securing the job in Banaras Hindu University. She must have known him in Delhi, while being in Delhi and all that. She taught there for about 10 years, almost 8 years, 9 years, and also was actively involved in the national movement. In 1936, she joined Congress Party formally. Around 1940, early 40, she became very active in Congress Party and was moving between Banaras, Allahabad and Delhi. And at that time, she was entrusted with the responsibility of organizing the Mahila Congress, the Women's Wing of Congress. And she was the person who organized the Mahila Congress in 1940 as an organizer, chief organizer of that.
Kripalani's entry into the Indian freedom struggle was influenced by her education and exposure to revolutionary ideas. Her political awakening came when she crossed paths with Mahatma Gandhi. His ideology of non-violence and civil disobedience inspired a generation, including Sucheta, who soon became one of his most trusted colleagues.
Mahatma Gandhi, after his advent into India from South Africa and his rise in the Congress, in about 3-4 years' time, he completely took over the Congress, literally. But he became the most prominent figure of the Congress party. It is in 1924, basically, with the influence of Rajist, and the two great names that come to our mind is C.R. Das and Motilal Nehru. Both were liars, incidentally. Around that time, Sucheta Kripalani had come into contact with Gandhiji while he used to be in Delhi.
She was drawn to the Quit India movement, and her participation marked the beginning of a lifetime of service to the nation. In 1942, the Quit India movement was in full swing and the British Empire was feeling the pressure. While many prominent leaders, including Gandhi, were imprisoned, it was up to others like Sucheta to keep the flame of resistance alive. She stood out as one of the few women who took a leadership role. She helped organize strikes, protests, and underground resistance. Her speeches, full of fervor and resolve, motivated thousands to join this cause. Her work in organizing strikes in places like Kanpur and Lucknow was critical in keeping the spirit of rebellion alive. She often risked her life, facing arrests, threats, and imprisonment. But for Sucheta, freedom was non-negotiable. Her work was not just about being on the streets. She was deeply involved in the planning and strategizing that kept the movement going even as its leaders were behind bars.
When Professor Usha Mehta established the underground radio for Congress party communication kind of being, she was also associated with that. And Aruna Asaf Ali was another very important figure. They were also underground for quite some time, as most of the leaders were arrested and they were in jail. These were the people who were, student come volunteers come, and also being women, they had little advantage of not being noticed or whatever you may like to say. So she used to be basically a very major kind of means of communication of information from various places. When Gandhiji was confined to, rather he was arrested and put in Aga Khan Palace, she had to be, and he had gone into very poor health, and he had taken up long duration fast and all that. So it was decided that she must go and meet him and convince him to kind of take care of his health. But meeting was not possible without explicit permission of the government, as he was in jail. So she went to Pune and approached the then Home Secretary Bombay State, saying that I should be allowed to meet him, and maybe after I come out, if you want, you can arrest me. So that matter was taken up with the governor of Bombay, and the permission was granted. She went and met Gandhiji, and they had the detailed discussion, all whatever they had. When she came out, she was arrested at the gate of the jail. And then she was in jail for about more than, I think, 1.5 years or 2 years. They were all released only in 1943 and all that, after the movement was over and called off or whatever.
Sucheta Kripalani's participation in the Quit India movement placed her at the forefront of India's fight for independence. Her ability to mobilize people, especially women, was a crucial part for the movement's success. While fighting for India's independence, Sucheta was also deeply invested in women's rights. She understood that for true freedom, both political and social change was necessary. She believed that true independence could not be achieved without empowering women. Women had to be a part of the fight, not just as supporters, but as leaders. Her advocacy helped give rise to women's participation in politics and the freedom struggle. In the critical days leading up to India's independence, Sucheta Kripalani became a trusted aide to Mahatma Gandhi. She was one of the few women invited to the negotiation table during crucial talks between the British government and the Indian leaders. Sucheta was not only an organizer, but also a diplomat. Her role in these negotiations was crucial. In 1946, when Gandhi undertook a hunger strike to protest communal violence, Sucheta was by his side, providing crucial support. Later that year, as India neared independence, the Constituent Assembly was formed to draft a new constitution. Sucheta Kripalani was one of the very few women chosen to serve in this historic body. She worked tirelessly on many critical committees, including the one focused on fundamental rights, a cornerstone of the Indian Constitution. Sucheta believed in the importance of securing equality and rights for women in an independent India. Her contributions ensured that the new nation would embrace the principles of social justice.
Before independence, she had come into kind of active politics. She was in fact in that from 1936-37 onwards, and was also elected to the Constituent Assembly from Kanpur. I mean, that is United Provinces. Those days it used to be called UP. Sucheta Kripalani was also a member of Constituent Assembly. She was one of the members of the drafting committee of the Constituent Assembly, of which Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was chairman. And Sucheta Kripalani was chairing the other important committee on fundamental rights and all that. So she was one of the few women members in the Constituent Assembly who played that active role in drafting the constitution.
India got independence in 1947, but it wasn't without immense pain. The partition of India and Pakistan led to widespread violence and displacement. It was during these dark days that Sucheta Kripalani's leadership shone brightest. She was assigned to the riot-torn areas of Delhi, where she led relief efforts for those affected by the partition. At a time when the entire nation was engulfed in chaos, her compassion and organization skills helped save countless lives. She worked to calm communal tensions, provide food and shelter to refugees, and ensure peace was maintained. It was an immense responsibility, and she handled it with grace and determination.
When partition took place, she was also chief of the Congress Party's rehabilitation wing. So, very important job she did in Delhi and elsewhere in rehabilitating the refugees from Pakistan. So to say, or people who came from Pakistan, we won't call them refugee, but so that was one of the major roles that she was. Later on, she joined this Gandhi, what you call it, Gandhi Kala Pratishthan and Shanti Pratishthan, of which Acharya J.V. Kripalani was president for a long time. So they were associated with that.
After India's independence, Sucheta Kripalani continued her service to the nation. Her leadership in post-independence India was as bold as her role in the freedom struggle. She believed that independence was not an end, but a beginning for building a better, more equitable society. She entered politics, becoming a member of the Indian National Congress. In 1963, she shattered yet another glass ceiling by becoming India's first woman chief minister in Uttar Pradesh. Her tenure was marked by bold decisions, a focus on rural development, and efforts to improve women's rights. She tackled significant issues from improving education to addressing the needs of refugees and laborers. Her tenure also marked a defining moment for women in Indian politics, proving that women could lead with authority and compassion. While she is remembered as India's first woman chief minister, her legacy is much larger.
Once the country became independent, her husband, that is Dr. J.B. Kripalani, was, he was of socialist leaning, and Congress Socialist Forum had already come into being in 40s itself, of which Acharya Narendra Dev, Dr. Lohia, and J.B. Kripalani, these were very important kind of personalities. So during the crucial time of independence, the passing of baton, he was the president of the Congress party. Although he had differences with both the big leaders of Congress party, Jawaharlal Nehru and Sardar Patel. In 1948, when the election took place in the Congress party, although Jawaharlal Nehru did not support his candidature fully, but he supported him against Purushottam Das Tandon, who was Sardar Patel's candidate, so to say. But Azad Kripalani lost. Jawaharlal Nehru's candidate lost, and Purushottam Das Tandon became the Congress president. But because of certain ideological differences, Tandon was considered as one of the not only rightist among the Congress people, but also a very person of very strong views. So Azad Kripalani and these people, they left the Congress party, and in 1952 they formed their own. He formed KMPP, what you call Kisan Mazdoor Praja Party, and at that time he also contested on KMPP ticket from Faizabad, which is now Ayodhya Faizabad constituency called, but Azad Kripalani lost. Sucheta Kripalani contested on KMPP ticket from New Delhi. She won. So she won on KMPP ticket in 1952 from New Delhi constituency. And in 57 again she won from New Delhi, but on Congress ticket. By that time she had joined back the Congress. And in 1957 she was appointed as Minister of State in Nehru's government. Most likely, if I remember correctly, she was in charge of rehabilitation and those kind of social departments. Social sector departments, and in 1960 she was invited by C.B. Gupta, who was the Chief Minister in Uttar Pradesh, to come to Lucknow. Of course, she was member of Parliament, so she continued till 1962. 1962 she went to Lucknow. No, she actually around 1960, I think, or 61, she resigned from the Lok Sabha and was appointed as a member of Legislative Council in UP, and joined C.V. Gupta government as Minister for Labour, Industries and something else, couple of departments. So she remained Minister for 1 or 2 years. In 1962 Assembly elections, she contested for the first time for Assembly, UP Assembly, from a constituency, a newly created constituency called Medawal, as a Congress party candidate, and won. In 62 itself she had become MLA from that constituency and was Chief Minister. In 63 she had become Chief Minister. In fact, when Gupta ji had to resign under Kamraj plan in 1963, she was basically chosen to lead the government in UP and had taken over as Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh.
She was a symbol of what women could achieve in a newly independent India. Sucheta Kripalani paved the way for countless women leaders who would follow her footsteps. Her legacy is not just of a freedom fighter, but of a woman who redefined leadership in a country on the cusp of transformation. From the chaos of the freedom struggle to the order of governance, her story is a testament to courage, resilience, and the power that one woman has to change the course of history. These women may have lived in a time of struggle, but their courage and determination resonate even today. They didn't just witness history, they made it. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the lives of trailblazing women. Do join us again for the next episode. This is She Left a Legacy, a series where we delve into the lives of extraordinary women who shaped history.